Well, hi there folks, it's Matt Hayson here looking at this week's property market, and last week in Sydney it was a huge week of auctions. 1,367 properties due to go under the hammer. We haven't seen that volume since January this year. Now the auction clearance rate, again, it came through sub 50% for the third time in a row, sitting at 48.9%. Now, when we start to see this softening in the auction clearance rate, it normally runs in parallel with what's unfolding with property prices as well, as you can see on this graph. And also bringing up the latest CoreLogic data, you can see in all the capital cities, price growth is starting to slow, and also Sydney and Melbourne are leading the charge, with Melbourne almost dipping into negative territory. But as this market is transitioning, sellers are very much aware of what's unfolding, and they're also looking at this finite time frame leading into Christmas, and they're adjusting the course of their campaign to match the pace of the market and the buyer pool. But importantly, what we're also seeing is there are a number of buyers that are very focused on purchasing before Christmas. Now, many of these people have already sold, so they're keen to secure a property, and many people are also looking at their financial approval is about to lapse, and they're very keen to buy before they have to go through that lending process again. So as a result, we're starting to see transactions are improving, and this should stabilise the market as we're starting to identify some campaign dates moving into 2024. And then finally this week, folks, our RBA Governor Michelle Bullock was speaking with apparently some so-called high-powered central bankers in Hong Kong, and suggesting that Australian households are faring fairly well. Now, this comes despite 13 cash rate increases and a lot going on in the economy, but the RBA is suggesting that households and also businesses' balance sheets are looking fairly healthy. Michelle Bullock did double down though and suggested that inflation in Australia is largely a domestic issue that they're trying to work their way through. However, Miss Bullock's predecessor, the former Governor Philip Lowe, has warned central banks around the world that they may not have lifted the cash rate high enough in order to tame inflation. Now, this is very interesting rhetoric coming from a gentleman that just 2 years ago was suggesting the cash rate would not be lifted at all over the next couple of years. However, Mr. Lowe has also gone on to suggest that the RBA needs to bring their inflation back within the target band in 2025, or otherwise they'll be met with a very upset general public. So we'll see what unfolds there and whether or not they are indeed on track. But both Philip Lowe and also Michelle Bullock have doubled down again and suggested that cash rate will need to remain higher and also that way for longer. So that leads us into this weekend, folks. And as I mentioned, there's some very good value on offer, and we're seeing transactions improve. So keep your eye out. We've got some great properties open for inspection, and our entire team looks forward to seeing you out and about. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all next week.